Just a couple miles directly below them is nestled away Coalville, Utah. Nice little town of about 800 people. So small it didn't even show up on a rent-a-car map. Quiet and peaceful. Interesting, something so small could produce someone who's become so big. AM Chicago is coming home with Tony Geary to Coalville, Utah. For the next 2 days, AM Chicago will be taking you on an exclusive tour of Coalville, Tony's hometown. We'll take a walk down Main Street, see one of his favorite hangouts, the Loma Theater. We'll meet his family as they talk about Tony growing up. Have an in-depth interview with his sister Deanne as she talks about the difficult aspects of her big brother's success. Travel to his school, see the first theater in which he performed, and meet some of his teachers, aunts, and cousins. We begin at Tony's home, located on the edge of town, a modest home. And as you walk through it and see the pictures of Tony that decorate every wall, you begin to understand the special closeness and love that holds them together as a family. And speaking of the family, we managed to gather them together for a few minutes in the den for a chat. Tony, all right, now you're the star of the family. I want you to give us a little introduction to each member here and then those who aren't here today. Let's start with Deanne.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't call myself star of the family. This is a repertory company. There are no stars here. However, Deanne is a data program. What do you do?
Data processing manager.
Processing. She's a hell of a dancer. She's the stylish member of the family. She's also going to get even with me during these interviews for all of the years of home movies when I shoved her out of the camera shop. Didn't I?
That's right, it's true.
She's been real angry about that ever since. Yeah. So you're going to get a lot of that from her. Mm-hmm. To my immediate right.
Let's go to Mom.
Is Mom. Mother is a housewife, a teacher. She has taken care of my father's business for many years. I don't know what else to say about her. She's my mom. What do you?
All right, and how about Dad?
The real star of the family, I would say. The man from which the work ethic of this family comes, and the pride in working, and the artistry with which we all approach what we do and what we love. It's my father.
And one of the gang who's not here today.
My sister Jana, who is not here, unfortunately. She's in the family way.
She is in the family way?
She's going to make me a nephew. I mean, she was going to make me an uncle.
Tony, where does she fit in now?
An aunt, whatever that is. What?
With the three of you.
Jana's 3 years younger than me, and how old are
5 years older than I.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about watching him on television. You watch General Hospital every day?
Oh, of course. I watch General Hospital every day.
What's it like to sit in this room on that set and watch the boy performing?
It's great. It's really great. But when I'm watching, he's Luke, he isn't Tony.
You ever sit there and say, oh, his hair's too long or his clothes are too loud?
I don't do that so much as Dad.
You think that Luke dresses a little weird sometimes?
A little out, yeah, sometimes. A little out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've done that on purpose. Like Mom says, it's acting.
It's still hard to explain to Dad sometimes that the hair's long.
Well, I've never had any trouble. They've never given me a bad time about my hair. I think there was a time when I wanted to braid it like, Pocahontas or something. And I was advised not to do that if I was going to come back to the house. But other than that,
Now, wait a minute. Who gave you that advice? Who's the disciplinarian in this family?
Well, my father is. But it comes through Mother.
That's right.
Do you worry about him?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Why not?
We feel like he's going his way now. The more we can do to help.
I worry about him.
You do?
I worry about all my family.
Yeah. What worries you most about Tony?
When he's very good to call. Very good to call nearly every week. And when I don't hear from him, then I wonder what's going on. So I call him.
That's right.
What do you think when you get a call from Mom?
I haven't called last week.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it's nice to hear from her.
What he said.
She usually, the easiest place to reach me is in my dressing room. So it's not always a sort of conversation on the run. But it's a really nice feeling to have that telephone ring in a dressing room in the middle of the fantasy world of Port Charles, and to pick up the phone and hear Mother's voice. It kind of brings you back to reality. And reality is at a premium in a life like mine.
Do you spend time together? Do you go out and visit in Los Angeles and see where Tony lives?
Oh, yes.
What do you think of that city?
We're glad to get back. We'd like to go over, but we're glad to get back.
Just about 2 days, though, we can take.
That's about all Dean can take. I can stay longer.
Dean, what's the worst thing about Los Angeles?
Traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic and smog.
Yeah. That's a lot different than Coalville, isn't it?
Oh,
Let's stop for a moment and break away, and we'll have more as AM Chicago returns home with Tony Geary. Tony, what was the best single bit of advice that you can remember from your dad, your mom, from your sisters?
My mother, I think the best piece of advice my mother ever gave me was, to thine own self be true. And even if sometimes my own self was opposed to her own self, she stood by that. And I've always tried to live my life that way. That no matter what, what currents I'm swimming against, I'm not going to swim the way everybody else does if I don't feel that way. So I believe that was that. Dad, again, I think the best piece of advice was not really spoken, but was demonstrated. And that was that a man's work is very important. It represents him in the world, and if you're going to do something, you better do it the best way you can do it, no matter how many hours it takes. And that has been a very, very much a cornerstone of my life. Jana, who isn't here, probably the best piece of advice was don't eat white sugar. She's a jogger.
Yeah, health food.
Health food. And Deanne's best piece of advice, I think, was also demonstrated, and that was, it had to do with honesty, too. For a long time, I tried to hide who I was from my parents, because I thought it would upset them. You know, that I wasn't going to live in Coalville, Utah, and I wasn't going to carry on the construction work or whatever. And Deanne, I don't think Deanne has ever done anything but be honest with my parents. And so as an older brother watching your younger sister do something that was very difficult for you to do, I learned a lot about honesty.
That's pretty good stuff.
Not bad. Not bad.
When Tony left school, dropped out of school, and started being a working performer, did that bother you? Did that worry you a lot?
yes,
Very much.
yes.
We were sure he was going on the wrong way.
You were. What did you tell him not to do that? I mean, did you?
No, we tried to encourage him to come back home and work and that, but we didn't discourage his work, I don't think.
But you knew he was creative,
Oh, yeah.
and you knew he probably had an ability at this, and yet you wanted him to stay and not go away.
Well, we couldn't believe that he could go like he has.
At that time, you couldn't imagine that he would be Luke Spencer and famous and on the cover of Newsweek magazine and all that. What changed your mind?
I guess he proved it to us so he could do it.
Did you feel uneasy about him going out and performing and being on the road and in strange cities and in a profession that doesn't have any semblance of certainty for tomorrow?
That, I think, was the concern, that he was far away from home, he was among strangers, we've always had a lot of support from each other, and he has a big comes from a big family, and I come from a big family, so it isn't only the five of us, excuse me. We have a lot of support from his brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, and for Tony to be out in the world by himself, it was really hard for me to deal with, and I used to call him, and after he and I had talked, I'd get calmed down, and a few days would go by, and I'd be upset again, and I'm okay. And of course, I always say, do you have money to eat on? Yes.
She still does that, by the way.
He always has money to eat on.
Do you?
Well, I don't have any on me. We were coming home. I figured she'd be cooking. No, but she do. They still ask. I've never, in the really rough days of living on unemployment and trying to get a gig on some television show here and there, I was always reticent to talk to my parents because it was always like admitting, well, I'm not really doing very well here. But no matter what I said to them, the conversation always ended with, do you need any money? Which, well, at a long distance, is probably the strongest support anybody can give you.
And you did need money.
And I did, and I asked for it, and I got it.
Were there times when Mom's crying on the phone and Dad's saying, come on back, and the money isn't rolling in and the jobs aren't rolling in, that you really thought Coalville might not be the worst place and the worst thing to be in your life?
Never.
When were you sure you had to leave Coalville?
When I was 3.
You like it here a lot, huh?
No, I like to visit now. I like it a lot. These mountains always... I enjoy coming back here now, but when I was a child growing up here, I felt really confined and smothered by this mountain. I was afraid I was never going to get out, and I always saw myself in a much more metropolitan area for some reason. So I really enjoy coming back now because it's not a threat to me. I can enjoy it. But when I was a child, the area here was threatening because it was too repressive.
Tony Geary's younger sister, Deanne, is successful in her own right. But what impact has his success had on her, and how has it affected their relationship? Remember the first time that you saw someone come up and overreact to him? How did you feel about that?
I was embarrassed. It was my junior prom. He flew in to be my date for my junior prom from L.A., and one of the girls in my class just made such a scene. We were out dancing. This was my big night, and this girl made this big scene wanting an autograph, and I mean, that was back when nobody knew who Tony Geary was, but this girl knew, and I guess wanted to have an autograph from somebody who was in the theater, so she made a big deal on the dance floor of my junior prom. So,
you ever spoken to her since?
No, as a matter of fact.
Once a jerk, always a jerk, huh?
I know.
You'll show her.
So.
But that's a good point about what stardom in a family can do to an entire family. Does it bother the folks, do you think, at times?
Mama has always said that Tony will always be Tony to her. He's not a star, and he gets treated like everybody else. He's expected to haul in wood and take his turn at the chores or whatever when he's home. So I think the hard part is we don't have the time with him that we used to have, or sometimes it's so hard to get hold of him. You want to speak to him, and because he's shooting or he's on location or he's off on vacation, it's very hard to find him. And so you lose the closeness, but when he comes home, then it's right back there again.
When you become so successful, there's a lot of things said about you. A lot of it is good, some of it is bad. Do you read the things that are not quite as good?
I have read some of it. It hurts my feelings when I read it, and I know it hurts his because we know it's not true. You don't believe it, but it hurts that someone would even do it, but you realize that it's part of the business and that it's to be expected, and you have to learn to live with it. And it's very hard. It's hard in a small town here because people read it and they don't know whether or not it's true, and they're wondering what's happening to Dean and Dana's kid. You know, he's turning into a real jerk, or he's got bad press and therefore is not a good person anymore. And that's not true. And so it's hard in how it affects the way people view you, I think. But we accept the fact that's part of the business.
Does Mom read that? Does she accept that?
I think she tries very hard to, and she always knows deep down that Tony is the same person that he always has been to her and will never change. And she'll once in a while call and say, "No, I read this. What is this?" You know, and he'll say, "Oh, it's trash. Don't worry about it." But I think that we believe whatever he tells us.
Have you ever gotten aggravated at someone at work or anywhere because they bother Tony?
I get angry. I have a bad temper anyway, and so it's hard for me. I've been rude to press, and that's not good either. But Tony says, you know, that's the way my sister is, so just, you know, he lets me be me, and didn't care that I was rude, I guess, even though it may have hurt him, and I'm sorry if it did. But
he told me you probably beat me up at some point in the interview.
I get angry at times if I'm pushed too hard, or people don't realize when to stop. Tony's very gracious. He's tired and we're traveling somewhere, and he'll be gracious with them. But when people don't stop, when they keep, you know, wanting more from him, that's when I say, okay, look, he's tired. We were roller skating once, and people just would not leave him alone. And I said, look, we came here to skate. We didn't come here to entertain you people. And it's hard.
Do people understand that?
No. Basically, they think I'm ornery and rude, and they feel like Tony owes it to him, I think. And that's not really true, I don't think. I think he gives when he's performing, when he's doing the show, or when he's doing a movie or something, and that's his giving. And it's hard, you know, to let people know he has to have some time for himself.
You're an artist, you're a performer. Seeing what he's got, would you ever want to trade places with him?
No, he's paid too big a price, I think. But it's what he wanted. He got what he wanted. And he's still striving to get more. You don't stop. You always want, you know, there are other opportunities out there he would like to take. But I don't have the disposition or the temperament to do what he's done.
Is there anything that you'd change about Tony? You know, looks, clothes, attitudes, nuances when he's acting?
Oh, I don't think so. I like him the way he is. He's pretty lovable. I think I would make it so that he was pleased with himself. I mean, I'm pleased with him, but he's always, you know, a little uneasy about himself. I'd like to see him be pleased with himself, and that's not changing anything physical about him. It's something he needs to do for himself.
Do you think right now he needs a little bit more peace of mind?
I think so. I think he works hard, and he plays hard, and I think that we're restless. All of us are restless, and he extremely so. So I think that he needs to just keep working. I mean, he's unhappy if he's not working. He's tired if he is working. So he just needs to find a balance there.
What's the answer? Move to Hawaii and do a dinner club?
No, he wouldn't be happy there. He wants something new. He's always got to have something new and a challenge, something that he's interested in. He doesn't want to be bored. And that's, I think, why from the time he was a child till now, he's always been doing something different than everybody else. It's the only time he's happy.
Thank you, Deanne.
You're welcome.
You're a good sister.
Well, I hope so.
We complete our first part of our two-part series on going home to Coalville, Utah with Tony Geary. Just one thought as we looked at Tony's sister, Deanne. She told us this off camera. She was very ill once and in the hospital. Tony flew in to the hospital and insisted that as long as she was there, that he stay with her. And he had a bed moved right into her room, and the two of them stayed together for several days. They're very, very close. Deanne's always very concerned and very thoughtful about Tony. But some other reflections. Tony has achieved more success with his character as Luke Spencer than any other person on Daytime. His achievements and his goals have set new heights. But it's also taken a toll on Tony. He is very tired. We've been able to see that as we've watched him over the last 2 or 3 years, interviewing him here on AM Chicago. One thing he gets, well, actually 2 things he gets when he goes home from his parents and his family: lots of love and lots of rest, which is what we all like when we go home. Tomorrow we'll be talking with cousins and aunts and school teachers, find out what Tony was like when he was a little fella. Also, we'll see his most important classroom when he was at school. And that's the auditorium, the theater at his high school where he first performed. That's coming up tomorrow as we continue part 2 of our 2-day look at Tony Geary in Coalville, Utah. A couple other things coming up on AM Chicago. Let me just take a moment, because on Wednesday, and we had a big response to this, we're going to be talking about birth phobia. Those of you who want to have children but are afraid of the actual birth process. We'll have an audience of ladies who have come down, and they'll tell us about their experiences overcoming birth phobia. And next week, coming up, oh, this is going to be terrific. The only week you have to know to watch to find out about new Christmas movies, the new TV specials that are coming up for Christmas. We'll show you some of the new gift ideas for Christmas, what records to buy, and also a Chicago holiday food extravaganza as we prepare all of you for the Christmas season. All right, we'll see you tomorrow on AM. Audience, coming up next on AM Chicago, close your eyes, let's leave a dreary morning in Chicago and travel to the mountains of Utah. And by the way, how would you like to be accompanied by Tony Geary? Well, you'll meet his mom, his dad, his sister, his aunts, cousins, and teachers. Visit his high school and take a tour of his hometown and more. And you don't have to pack or have a ticket. Just stay right where you are and come along with me to Coalville, Utah to visit Tony Geary next on AM Chicago. Coalville, Utah. Population 847. Hometown of Tony Geary. Throughout our stay in Coalville, we met a lot of Tony's friends and family who shared with us their best memories of him as he was growing up.
He would tease, and I hated to be teased, but...
How would he tease you? What would he do?
He'd come up and go, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and I always hated that.
Pulling your cheeks?
Yes, you know, just when he wanted to get me irritated. But
what would you do in retaliation?
Call him Bubba. He hated that.
Well, we used to go up in my grandfather's barn and jump around in the hay, and Tony would imagine the barn to be either a spaceship or a pirate ship, depending on whether he'd seen Errol Flynn or Buck Rogers.
Tony and I and all the kids in the neighborhood would get together, and Tony was always the leader. And we'd take expeditions up into the hills with our sack lunches. And Tony always had a piece of cheesecloth or something wrapped around his head and was playing Arabian Nights or something. And he would disappear behind the rocks and come out and be a different character and would scare us, or would be an old man and would guide us on our way or something. We'd just keep trudging along, and he'd keep popping up and being different characters.
Probably spent every day of the summer swimming in the reservoir, tubing down the creek and climbing in the trees, and just kind of a Huck Finn type childhood, really. It was usually him that inched up to the next higher cliff to make the dive, and we would slowly follow along, not to be outdone. And
Tony was being creative one afternoon and decided to blow up the neighborhood mailboxes by putting cherry bombs in and closing the ends. And he went all down the block and blew up everyone's mailboxes, but ours was not blown up, and Mother could not figure out who it was who'd blown up everyone else's mailboxes. But everyone in the neighborhood knew who it was.
You're lying. That never happened.
That is true. It's true. The only thing is the people in the neighborhood didn't know. They were looking for who blew up the mailboxes. A federal offense.
A federal offense, and you were out there blowing them up.
I didn't know that it was Tony and taking little Jana along with him.
Yes. Well, she lit them. I just stuffed them in the boxes, and she lit them.
Well, when he first began as a 7th grader, he was very well behaved. Very quiet. They usually are. They're a little chagrined when they come into 7th grade, you know, and especially when they find out they're going to have Mrs. Briggs for their English teacher.
Why, were you a tough teacher?
Oh, I was terrible.
He wasn't one of the what you'd call genius in the mathematics and science classes, but one who was willing to cooperate, and one who was always above average in his behavior and attitude toward things.
Usually, a teacher will laboriously go through, 40 or 50 compositions from 7th grade. And when I'd come to Tony's, that would be just a great change of pace, a delightful change of pace.
Why? Why was he different?
Because in his writings, he even then showed an imagination, a creativeness that you don't usually find in 7th grade writing.
Well, he was the drum major of the school, the band. He played in the band. He played trombone, I think. And all his cousins, the boys, my boys and Dana's and Dean's boys, they were, one boy, and all the cousins were about the same age, and they were all in the band. And then we didn't have particularly fantastic big group, but when he was the drum major and he started marching, you all watched.
So were you responsible for teaching Tony to dance?
I guess you'd say that, yeah.
What kind of dancer is he?
He's a pretty good dancer. He's a fairly good tap dancer, a really good, ballroom dancer. When I used to come to the junior proms and he'd see me sitting on the side for quite a while, he'd come over and have me dance, and we'd just glide around the floor.
The thing that I remember most about Tony is his self-assurance, because when I'd be teaching coeducational dance classes, he was the only one that had the courage to come up and ask me to dance.
What did you say to him when he asked you?
Oh, I'd be delighted.
He always wanted to be, always wanted to do what he's doing now. And boy, it took a long time for him to get where he is now, but he always had that determination. And when he started landing a few parts, I thought, well, maybe he's going to make it. And then everything came out.
I always wanted to be a rockette, and that's been my deepest secret, but it's got out somehow lately.
Tony told me.
I always thought I would go to New York and be a rockette.
But you didn't. You stayed here, and then you gave some advice to Tony, didn't you?
And I said, Tony, if you want it, go after it. I always, deep in my heart, wanted to do this so bad, and I never could, and I felt like he had it, and he could do it. So I just said, if you want to do it, and he did.
The thing about Tony is the love that he has always shown. And nothing means more in the world than to have him put his arms around me, kiss me, love me, or be happy to see me. And I have never gone any place in Hollywood or any place with Tony that he didn't act like he was proud that I was his mother.
Main Street in Coalville, Utah. While it's only 4 blocks long, it's the center of Tony Geary's memories.
When you get back here and you're walking around, I mean, what goes through your head when you come home?
Well, I'm always amazed at how little it changes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gone through any big urban developments here lately.
No, and yet I suppose the changes have been pretty extreme for people who have lived here because of the oil, quite an oil deposit in this area.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 years ago, I think they started hitting oil in the area. So the people who live here now have noticed quite a big change. I don't see it.
What do you do when you come home? Is it I mean, obviously there's not a lot to do, but you got a lot of friends to see, a lot of people to check in with?
Well, not really. Most of the people that I see are members of the family, aunts, cousins, uncles. But other than visiting with my parents, laying in front of the fire, going up to the farm, riding horses, or maybe snow machines during the winter, skiing a little bit, I don't do anything but here but flake out.
Is that a way that you kind of get your head back?
Yeah. It's a good equalizer to come here because I'm, it's nobody calls me Luke, and nobody thinks of me as a celebrity or any of that fantasy-oriented stuff. I'm still a guy who came from this town, and it gives me a good sense of keeping my feet on the ground to come back here.
See, my impression would be almost the opposite, the fact that you have done so well, probably as well as anyone ever from home, certainly in your area. that the town would see you differently, that they just couldn't help? What's this? We carry everything in merchandise of highest quality.
That's right. They do. This is the Summit Furniture and Mercantile Company. It was
This is the department store?
This is, well, it's sort of the giant 7-Eleven, or the all-night. It's not open all night, but if they have everything in there from hunting equipment to kitty litter.
Parking ever a problem here in downtown Coalville?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody would mind if all the parking spaces were filled if you just sort of parked in the street. There doesn't seem, I've never seen anybody get a parking ticket here.
No one.
Or a jaywalking ticket.
How many police officers do they have?
Well, I believe there's a sheriff for Summit County, and other than that, I think they have a few deputies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a big call for discipline in the law area here.
I hope none. And if anybody's going to get a street jaywalking ticket, it's going to be you and me. We're walking right in the middle of the thing.
There's Bunny's Bar.
Wait a minute. Where's Bunny's
Right here.
Bar?
Bunny's is right here.
This is the bar in town?
It's the one bar. You can get beer only.
Yeah.
Or set up drinks. There's the liquor store next to it. It's been there probably since the 40s.
You spend much time in Bunny's?
No, not really. I was not allowed in there until I was about 22. My father took me in for my first beer. It was quite an event. Yeah. This is the Loma Theater, which is really kind of was my center of town. It has a new face on it. But they used to show one feature per week, twice a night, and I think I used to watch every movie that came in 14 times.
You know, I would wonder, coming from Coalville, nice, small, compact, little area, how would you develop your interest for what you're doing now? I mean, certainly there's not a lot of live theater around here.
Well, no. There was always some live theater going on through the church or the school. Nothing of any major importance, I suppose. But I think the way that I developed a need for the theater, and it's because I was living in a lot of fantasy here. I had a great need to expand this valley into the desert of Arabia or the Old West or some futuristic city or something, and I can always do that in my mind. You'll notice I'm going like this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my love for what I do now grew out of just a child's imagination.
But you knew that you couldn't stay here.
Yeah.
Where did you think you'd end up?
Either New York or Hollywood.
Doing what?
Doing what I'm doing now. I didn't ever anticipate the success that I've enjoyed the last 4 years, but I knew it was something I had to do.
What have the folks felt, do you think, with you leaving and you being away from Coalville?
Well, I think it was very hard for them in the beginning, and I think that they showed a lot of courage in letting their only son, you know, leave this very safe and well-known environment into the madness of show business. I think it took an enormous amount of courage and trust and faith in me and themselves and whatever background they had provided me with.
Who had the hardest time?
Well, I always heard that my mother had the hardest time, but I'm not so sure. My father's not very vocal, but he's a deep feeler, and he's a very sensitive man. So it could be that they shared the pain of it. I think they've recovered rather well, don't you?
Do you think? Well, definitely. They're pretty solid people, at least from what I've met. Do you think, though, deep down, they'd like you to come back someday and settle here?
I know that they would like me to be closer to them, and I would enjoy, you know, living in a closer environment. But I don't think they have any fantasies or even desires to have me move back here, because they know that what I want for my life is not going to be found here. And they've always been too supportive to want me to sacrifice what I need for their comfort.
I look up on the hill, North Summit High, home of the Braves.
That's it.
Were you a Brave?
You bet.
Let's walk up there and take a look at it.
All right.
We got a little traffic congestion here, though. It's not too easy walking downtown with a film crew in back of you.
No, I don't think it's the usual fare for this area.
And yet, you know, no one seems to be very bothered by it.
No, no. See, people are very private, and that's one of the things that's difficult for me in a public life, because I'm used to privacy. Even though it's a small town and everybody might know everybody's business, nobody talks about it. So on one hand, I always wanted to get out of the closeness of this environment, and on the other hand, it's more private here for me now than anywhere else in the country.
At the top of the hill, North Summit High School. And all the classrooms there, we visited the one that was probably most important to Tony then and now.
Okay, you ready for this? The auditorium.
Yeah.
Huh? How about this?
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you remember when you walk in here?
Well, this is where it all began for me. On that stage right there is really one of the reasons that and the feeling that I got from anybody sitting out here.
Who was always in the audience rooting for you?
My mother, my father, my sisters, my Aunt Lavon, my Aunt Betty, my cousins.
They all showed up for the big performances.
Oh, there was nothing else to do.
Best performance in this auditorium?
R.G. Hansen, when we tried to have him impeached as English teacher. Best performance. He claimed that he really did have the students' interests at heart.
We've got the old Steinway here.
Isn't it? This piano used to be right down over there. Surprised it's still here. And it's got a good sound to it. Yeah, this piano, I did a musical. I wrote the music, the book, the lyrics. My cousin Larry Vernon and I did all the scenery. And had practically everybody in the junior class involved. Robin Hood of Sherbet Forest. And I wish I could rip off the overture for you, but Darlene Piercy played it, and I don't remember.
She was a pretty good piano player.
She was. I think she's now playing lounges in somewhere. No, she isn't. I don't know what she's doing.
Worst performance you ever gave in here?
Oh, graduation. I don't know. The worst performance I ever gave in here probably had to do with... we did, one year we did South Pacific, and I played the guy who falls in love with, I don't remember, I had to sing Younger Than Springtime. Pretty grim.
Did you have a good voice back then?
No, I don't, never did and never will. But I, acted it.
All right, South Pacific. Who else was in that production? This is inside stuff I'm throwing at you.
Oh, Jana.
Your sister Jana. And what was the problem getting Deanne into the play?
She was underage. The union problems. I don't know. What was it?
No, she was still in grade school, and the hair. Remember the color?
Her hair was red, and she had to play a Polynesian. Now, Jana could get away with it because she had that gorgeous little smile that could make her look like anybody's. Now, Deanne, being a little more jaded at that age, red-headed and everything, had to go into a heavy dye number. So it was...
And the director wasn't going to let her in, but someone insisted that she dye her hair and that she be in the play.
Probably Lavon.
No, you.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
I like that about me, see? That's why, I like that. I've kept that up. I insist on, being paid for what I do.
But you were directing a little bit, it seems, at that point, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You were vice president here at the school?
Yes, 1 year.
And what were the duties of the vice president?
The vice president was in charge of all the assemblies, which is all the student gatherings, the plays, the student activities. And also, what I sort of did was, as I recall, I was a sort of general buffer between the student body and the powers that were, the faculty. Because it was early in the 60s, and we were, like every place in the world, we were struggling for more freedom. So it was almost political, but that was as close as I ever got to being a political figure. Let's revolt. North Summit High School.
And did they applaud or boo when you said that?
Well, the students applauded, and R.G. Hansen
booed.
We've
had a good weekend here. We've talked to the folks. We've talked to your sister, relatives.
I wish Jana had been here. My other sister.
She's the one that's in the family way.
She's in the family way and couldn't make it, and I miss her. in this situation.
What's it been like, though, for you to come back and then to have our station here with the cameras every move you make?
It's been real strange, Rob.
Why?
Well, I felt very vulnerable here because these are my people, and I have tried real hard to protect them from the uncomfortableness of having a public figure as a son. So to agree to do this was quite a difficult thing, and I'm real proud of them that they carried it off with such dignity, because I think I've been more nervous than anybody. But you've made it easy.
You're a good guy. Let's tell you what. Let's close down the cameras, and you and I will go down to Bunny's Bar and have a quick beer.
Let's go.
All right. Say goodbye to the auditorium.
So long.
Not easy having the folks and everyone talking about
No, you have that public image that's just so outrageous and everything, and it really isn't me. I have to come here and be real. It's scary.
I don't think they think of you as much of a public guy around here.
I don't think so either.
It was hell just trying to get someone to wave at you. As I was watching in the studio along with you, I just jotted down a few notes. I remember that on the Saturday that we were done filming, it was Tony's sister, Deanne's birthday, and so we all cleared out by about 3 o'clock so they could have a big birthday dinner. It was a rainy day on that Saturday. Wouldn't you know it, as soon as we got outside? I had to borrow Tony's cowboy hat. That's why it was a little big and kept falling down. It's a nice town, Coalville. Nice people. Beautiful mountains all around, and Tony had climbed them all and had some great stories about that. We really enjoyed it. And a special thanks to the entire Geary family. They were marvelous to all of us. And a good job to you, Jimmy McFarland, our director, and Peggy Curry, our associate producer, and Bonnie, and Joe Blanford, our cameraman, and all the crew. It was a marvelous experience for us to be out in Coalville, Utah.
Will Luke ever return to Port Charles? Catch up with Tony Geary and find out. Then